Let's do a fortune telling. This phone is in danger. The fan I called was very straightforward. They said this phone had already been repaired multiple times. If I can fix it, they'll send me a bottle of wine. If I can't fix it, they want to try the whiskey from my hometown. That's a deal I can take. We removed the motherboard and found it had indeed been repaired before. The shielding had been cut off. The fast-charging IC wasn't even installed, and the motherboard solder pads were scorched. This 120W super fast charging, not even the iPhone 16 Pro Max has it. There are many cases of burned motherboards, but burning the motherboard like this is a real problem. This phone, like the iPhone 16 series, has a dual-layer motherboard design. The power supply section is in the middle of the dual-layer board. We need to separate the motherboard layers to take a look. After separating the motherboard layers, it looked fairly clean inside. Luckily, it's not too bad. We soldered a wire to the positive terminal of the motherboard, then we connected the power meter to test it. When we pressed the power button, the current only jumped to around 40 milliamperes. The CPU didn't even start working. Upon closer inspection, it was clear that the CPU had been tampered with. Dude, if you want whiskey, just say so. What are you doing here? All right, let's remove the CPU and take a look. The solder pads under the CPU were very neatly handled. Well, it looks like we won't be getting that wine after all. It's likely the charging caused the motherboard bottom to burn. We'll test the motherboard bottom without the CPU. The current looks normal this way too. We might as well give it a shot. We cleaned up the motherboard solder pads, cleaned the CPU, reballed it, and installed it back in place. Some people quietly watch the video, but will still like, comment, share, and follow. People like that are really adorable. We powered it up again to test the current. The current jumped to 250 milliamperes with just the CPU installed. That's normal too. That's strange. Is there still hope? We installed the RAM as well. Okay, let's test the power meter again. This time the current shows that the phone can boot. We installed it into the case, connected the screen, and tested it again. The boot logo appeared. Success. It booted into the system. Looks like I'll be getting that wine. Let's also repair that fast charging IC while we're at it. But looking at the scorched motherboard is giving me a headache. We pulled up the schematics. Most of the burnt areas are either ground pins or unused pins. Only 3 pins are actually useful. We need to trace the lines and create artificial solder pads. Let's deal with the first one. We scraped out the wire nearby and attached a copper wire to it. We shaped the copper wire into a loop to create an artificial solder pad, fixed it in place with green solder mask. Okay, the first artificial pad is done. The second one is trickier. We need to dig into the nearby board layer to find the trace. The lead is tiny too. After scraping it out, we took a silver wire, only 1/5 the thickness of a hair. We flew it to the trace, shaped it into a loop for another artificial pad, applied green solder mask and dried it to fix it, scraped out the solder pad. Okay, the second one's done. The last solder point is exposed. We just need to add a solder ball to it. Okay, the solder pads are all fixed. We installed a brand new chip, reassembled the upper layer of the motherboard. Let's put it back together and test it. The battery is dead. We connected the charger to power it on. Okay, it booted successfully into the system. We tested the camera, Wi-Fi, and call functionality. Everything works perfectly. We grabbed a 120W super fast charger to test the fast charging. The 120W Max started charging instantly, no issues at all. Buddy, I didn't drink your wine for nothing. We took the motherboard out again, applied fresh thermal paste, put the whole phone back together. Okay, fully repaired. That was close. Almost didn't get that wine.